reserve currency, that means historians will look back on 2025 as some sort of pivotal year?
I don't think so, especially in case of Korea. Our Korean won has appreciated significantly in the last 2 months, but I think it's mostly due to the very unique situation that we had. We had a very unexpected, unnecessary martial law declaration in last December, and after that, this political risk, together with the slowdown in our economy, really make a Korean won depreciate much more than our fundamentals explain. So in some sense, the appreciation that we have observed in the last 2 months, in some sense, normalization of our currencies. And as for the kind of long-term shift of the dollar sentiment, we have discussions, but looks like people are talking about it. But at this moment, they keep the dollar assets while they're increasing the hedge ratios. So at this moment, I think the lion's share of the impact, BIS report show this one, is impact is mostly moving from the unhedged to the hedged positions. So we have to see what will happen in the future.
Yeah, Governor Bailey?
Well, I'd say two things. First of all, I think that it's important to bear in mind what the definition of a reserve currency is and how it's evolved over many years. So I like Chang Rhee. I don't see there being a sort of a major shift at the moment. Not least because in this day and age, the definition of a reserve currency has as much to do with the supply of safe assets into the market that can be used for all the purposes of sort of collateral and security that they are, as much as it is about a sort of pure exchange rate. So I think we're a long way off that change happening. The second thing is going back to something Christine was saying earlier. I mean, when we look at financial conditions, which we do, of course, but I do think particularly, I always believe this, but I think it's even more relevant at the moment to unpack a financial conditions index. And the reason I say that is because we've seen a breakdown in the correlations of the components of a financial conditions index. So you look at sort of bond yields, you look at exchange rates, you look at equity risk premium, for instance. Those correlations are not the ones that we've tended to see established over time. So you have to look at it much more carefully. There are stories, to my mind, about each of the components of that. So when I look at the exchange rate, I look at it very much on that basis. I don't think it's sensible to sort of pack it all up as we normally would and say it's all behaving normally, because the correlations are not actually.
Governor Ueda, there's also many colleagues at central banks, I guess, around the world are building up gold reserves. Is that the only real alternative to the dollar?
I think it's up to a certain extent what areas like Europe or China would do in terms of improving the efficiency or convenience of their currencies, like the kinds of things we were discussing this morning, capital markets integration, and these things will change the degree to which the role of the dollar may decline in the future.
Woman Lagarde?
I think, I don't know if 2025 will be a pivotal year. I would tend to think that, yes, it might very well be. But for a major change to occur will take a lot of time and will require a lot of effort. And I completely agree with the points made by Andrew about the dichotomy that we're seeing at the moment. And that might be an indication of the fact that investors are looking at options. This is what investors are saying. They ask questions, they seek alternatives, and whether that translates into a general lack of confidence that will be further fueled by more uncertainty, more unpredictability, a bit of a jump in the unknown on several fronts, not just monetary policy, not just even the economics, but beyond that, in terms of security at large, for instance, I think remains to be seen. It's not going to happen just like that overnight. It never did historically. There is no reason it should now, but there is clearly something that has been broken, and whether it is fixable or whether it is going to continue to be broken, I think the jury is out on that front.
And Chair Powell, how do you think we'll look back on 2025?
So you're asking me